In the U.S., President Biden says he will soon visit the island of Maui after last week's devastating fires that razed Lahaina. The number of dead has now reached 99. Hundreds are still missing. As search crews have combed through 25% of the disaster zone, officials say they're also working hard to identify more of the dead that have been found.
I understand that people want numbers. It's not a numbers game. Right now we're at 99 souls and families. So we're going to continue to do that.
Among those already identified, 4 members of the Tawney family, including a young boy, were found in a burned car near their home. And the remains of Frankie Trejos, who was helping neighbors during the disaster. He was found shielding his roommate's dog. And as survivors grieve the loss of their loved ones, many evacuees are desperate to return to Lahaina. Neetu Garcha is on Maui. Neetu, are authorities allowing residents back into town?
Farah, access to Lahaina was briefly reopened, spurring a scramble for access through police checkpoints like this one behind me. Some residents are still not able to get to their homes, which survived the fire. Authorities here say about 2,000 housing units have been secured for those who are displaced. Among them is a Canadian business owner and his family.
2 of the dogs that got taken in the ocean and one's got burns on it. So.
Canadian Don Prestage has lived on Maui for nearly a decade, building a life with his family and multiple businesses, including 2 restaurants, a retail store and a boat shop in Lahaina, all of which burned. He says 6 of his buildings, including this coffee shop, were obliterated.
I think the wind was so high and the fire was so hot that it really left nothing. It's pretty hard to grasp. The pictures don't do it justice.
Prestage says several of his 140 employees are facing significant loss.
I have an employee and she's only 21 and she lost her cousin in the fire. And so she's 21 years old and she's really got to support 5 people and pay for a funeral.
Against the backdrop of such loss, Prestage says there's been an overwhelming amount of support from fellow Canadians.
I didn't even have to go further than one person from Calgary, and he wired funds today to support her. We're blessed. You know, my family's okay. Our house will eventually get back to it. We're okay.
Prestage snapped these photos before the inferno forced him to flee.
It started out with just trying to make sure we knew where everybody was and that they were safe.
He says his home, vehicle, and family all survived. They're now staying with friends. They also have business operations in Oahu. He says he's thankful and trying to support his staff.
It's a community that I love, and so it's devastating.
Parts of Maui are in severe drought, not including these structures which burned down. Hawaiian Electric says power has been restored to a majority of affected customers.
Hopefully, once we understand more what the state and the county is going to do, we can build our plans around that to have a future again one day.
Hawaii's governor said the fires were a natural disaster and it's unlikely much more could have been done. But we have heard outrage from locals here. They say authorities failed to provide warnings, a clear evacuation plan, and timely help from first responders. Farah?
A lot of questions in the weeks ahead. Neetu Garcha in Maui. Thank you, Neetu.